The alley smelled of wet garbage and desperation, a scent I knew well from late nights leaving the diner. It was the reason I always took the long way home, but tonight the rain was a cold, driving sheet, and I'd chosen the shortcut. A mistake. A man was on his knees, his expensive suit soaked through and plastered to his trembling frame. Another man stood over him, holding a silenced pistol. I saw the man on the ground plead, his hands clasped together as if in prayer. I saw the other man's face, cold and indifferent. I saw the muzzle flash, a silent, violent bloom in the gloom. The kneeling man slumped forward, a dark stain spreading across his back. I didn't scream. I couldn't. The sound was trapped in my throat, a solid, suffocating lump. My only reaction was a flinch as a spray of warm, wet droplets hit my cheek and the worn canvas of my sneakers. The man with the gun turned his head, his eyes finding mine in the deep shadows. He was tall, broad, his face a mask of harsh angles carved from granite. He didn't look surprised to see me, only annoyed. Then, from the other end of the alley, another figure emerged. He moved with quiet authority that made the man with the gun straighten instantly. This new man was different. He wore a suit that probably cost more than my entire apartment building, but it didn't look soft. It looked like armor tailored to a body that was all hard lines and coiled power. His hair was dark, cut short, and his face was a study in controlled brutality. He wasn't handsome in a conventional way. He was too severe for that, his jaw too sharp, his mouth a thin, unforgiving line. His eyes, though, were what held me. They were dark as a starless night, and they fixed on me with an unnerving stillness. He wasn't looking at a witness. He was looking at a problem to be solved. His men moved around him, efficient and silent, one of them already wrapping the body in a tarp. The alley was being cleaned, erased. He walked toward me, his expensive leather shoes making no sound on the wet pavement. He stopped a few feet away, his gaze dropping from my face to my shoes, now speckled with another man's life. The silence stretched, broken only the drip of water from a rusted fire escape. I knew I should be begging, crying, running. But all I could think about was the fact that these were the only shoes I had that didn't have a hole in the sole. I looked down at the dark spots on the gray canvas and then back up at his impassive face. "These were my only good pair," I said. My voice wasn't shaky. It was flat, tired, and utterly devoid of fear. It was the voice of a person who had already lost too much to be scared of one more thing. A flicker of something crossed his face. Not surprise, not amusement, but something deeper, a crack in the granite facade. It was there and gone so fast I thought I imagined it. He tilted his head slightly, studying me as if I were a strange new species of insect he'd just discovered. He didn't speak. He just gave a single, almost imperceptible nod to the man with the gun. Then to me he said, "You're coming with us." It wasn't a question, it wasn't an invitation. It was a statement of fact, as immutable as gravity. Two men flanked me, their grips firm but not painful on my arms. They guided me out of the alley and into the back of a black Maserati that was idling silently at the curb. The leather was cold against my skin. The boss, as I was already thinking of him, slid into the front passenger seat. The car pulled away from the curb, merging into the city traffic as if we were just another group of people heading home from a late night. But we weren't. I was a ghost being taken to a place I couldn't see, by a man I didn't know, for a crime I hadn't committed. I just sat there, staring out the window, watching the familiar neon signs and streetlights blur into streaks of color. I didn't ask where we were going. I knew I wouldn't get an answer. If slow burn romance with high stakes is your thing, hit subscribe. Now back to the story. The Maserati pulled into a private underground garage, its tires humming on the smooth concrete. We exited into a private elevator, all of us silent. The elevator rose smoothly, too smoothly, and my stomach dropped with the altitude. When the doors opened, they didn't open into a hallway. They opened directly into a vast open space. A penthouse. It wasn't what I expected. There were no gilded frames or plush over-the-top furniture. It was minimalist and cold, a fortress in the sky. The floor was polished black marble that reflected the city lights from the floor-to-ceiling windows. The furniture was low-slung and severe, all sharp angles and dark leather. a massive abstract painting, a violent slash of red and black on a white canvas, dominated the far wall. The only sign of life was a single, perfectly tended orchid on a stark white console table. The silence in here was different from the silence in the car. It was a heavy, deliberate silence, a blanket that smothered sound. "You will stay here," the boss said, his voice low and rough, like gravel. He finally looked at me directly, his dark eyes unreadable. "Your name is Alara," he stated. It wasn't a question. "You work at the diner on 4th. You live in a basement apartment on Elm. Your brother, Leo, is in the pediatric ward at St. Jude's. His treatment is expensive." My blood ran cold. He knew everything. He hadn't just stumbled upon me in that alley. He had known who I was before he ever saw my face. "How?" I started, but he held up a hand, silencing me. "There are clothes in the bedroom, food in the kitchen. You will not leave this apartment. You will not try to contact anyone. You are a guest here, Lara. Act like one." He turned and walked toward a large oak door at the far end of the living area, leaving me standing there, a small, insignificant speck in his cavernous world. One of his men, a mountain of muscle with a blank face, gestured for me to follow him down a hallway. He showed me to a bedroom. The mountain of a man pushes the door open and I step inside, my sneakers making no sound on the thick, gray carpet. The door clicks shut behind me, the sound of final, definitive period. I'm alone. The room is as severe and beautiful as the rest of the penthouse. A king-size bed with a simple black duvet dominates the space, its frame made of dark, polished wood. The walls are a pale, icy gray, and one entire wall is a window, offering a breathtaking panoramic view of the city. I should be awed. I should be terrified. Instead, all I can think is that the window doesn't open. It's a single, seamless sheet of glass, a beautiful, unbreakable barrier between me and the world. I walk to it, placing my palm against the cool surface. Down below, the city is a living thing, a river of red and white lights flowing through canyons of steel and glass. I can see the distant glow of the hospital where Leo is. Jude's. He said the name so easily, plucking it from my life as if it were a loose thread. A cold knot of dread tightens in my Leo. He needs me. His treatments are every Tuesday and Thursday. It's Wednesday. He's alone. Or maybe he's not. Maybe one of this man's shadows is sitting outside his room, making sure he's comfortable, making sure I behave. The thought is more chilling than any physical threat. I turn from the window and survey the rest of my prison. There's a walk-in closet. I open it. Rows of clothes hang inside, all with the tags still on them. Jeans in my size, simple t-shirts, a few elegant sweaters. There's a set of silk pajamas still in their crisp box. On the shelf below are new, unopened boxes of underwear and socks. He didn't just have clothes here. He had clothes for me. He knew he was taking me. This wasn't a spontaneous decision born of me being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I was a target, but why? I'm a waitress. I live paycheck to paycheck. My only asset is a mountain of medical debt. I sink onto the edge of the bed, the mattress firm beneath me. My uniform feels grimy, stained with the city's rain and other things. I need to get out of it. I need to think. I strip off the damp apron, my fingers fumbling with the ties. I'm about to drop it on the floor when I hesitate. It's the only thing I have from my old life. I fold it neatly, my movements automatic, and place it on the dresser. As I do, my hand brushes against something small and hard in the apron pocket. A USB drive. It's small, silver, and completely unremarkable. I have no idea how it got there. I stare at it, my mind racing. The alley, the man on his knees, the spray of, no, it couldn't be. I frantically replay the moments in my mind. The man with the gun, the boss, his men cleaning the scene. Did they slip this into my pocket as they guided me to the car? It's the only explanation. I'm not a witness. I'm a mule. An unwitting carrier for something so important it was worth killing for. My blood turns to ice. This isn't about me seeing something. This is about what I'm carrying. I close my fingers around the small piece of metal, its edges digging into my palm. This is the key. This is the reason I'm here. And he thinks I know it. He thinks I stole it. The realization hits me with the force of a physical blow. He wasn't annoyed to see a witness. He was annoyed to see his courier. My flat, tired comment about my shoes wasn't a sign of my resilience. It was a confirmation of my guilt in his eyes. A girl who doesn't care about being covered in blood must be involved. I have to get rid of it. I look around the room, my gaze darting from the potted orchid on the nightstand to the heavy textbooks on the bookshelf. Art history, philosophy, things I've never read. I could flush it. I could hide it inside the mattress. I could smash it with the heel of my shoe. But I know he's watching. There are cameras. I can feel them, tiny, unblinking eyes in the corners of the ceiling. Hiding it would be an admission of guilt. Playing dumb is my only chance. I take a deep, steadying breath and force my fingers to uncurl. I place the USB drive back into the apron pocket, my heart hammering against my ribs. Then I walk into the adjoining bathroom. It's all black marble and polished chrome, a vast, sterile space. I turn on the shower, the water thundering against the tile, and step under the spray, letting the scalding heat wash over me. I scrub my skin until it's raw, trying to wash away the feeling of the alley, the memory of the man's last moments, the phantom touch of the boss's gaze. But it's no use. I'm marked. I'm his. I stay in the shower until the water runs cold. When I get out, I wrap myself in a thick, plush towel and walk back into the bedroom. I choose a pair of the jeans and a simple gray t-shirt. They fit perfectly, which is just another layer of this meticulously planned nightmare. I don't know what to do with my uniform. I can't wear it again, but I can't bring myself to throw it away. I leave it folded on the dresser, the USB drive a secret weight in its pocket. I have to face him. I have to know about Leo. I open the bedroom door and step out into the main living area. The penthouse is just as silent as before, but now it feels less empty and more watchful. He's here. I can feel his presence like a change in atmospheric pressure. He's standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at the city he owns. He's changed his suit, this one a deep charcoal gray that seems to absorb the light. He holds a glass of something amber in his hand, the ice swirling silently. He doesn't turn when I approach. "Your brother is stable," he says, his voice a low rumble that vibrates through the floor. His doctor was persuaded to continue his treatment without interruption. The bill has been paid. In full. Relief so profound it almost buckles my knees washes over me, followed immediately by a wave of sickening dread. Persuaded. Paid. He's not just protecting Leo. He owns him. He owns me. "Thank you," I whisper, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. He turns then, his dark eyes pinning me in place. They're not just unreadable now, they're predatory. "You're welcome. Now you and I are going to have a conversation." He gestures toward the long black sofa. "Sit." I obey, my legs feeling like they're made of wood. The leather is cold and unforgiving. He remains standing, a tactic designed to keep me off balance, to remind me who is in control. He takes a slow sip of his drink. "You've been a waitress at Giuseppe's for 2 years," he begins, his tone conversational, but the edge beneath it is razor sharp. "You work the morning shift. You're efficient. You don't chatter. You keep your head down." He's not asking. He's reciting facts from a file. "You live alone. You have no friends to speak of. Your entire life revolves around that hospital." He walks closer, stopping directly in front of me. I have to crane my neck to look up at him. He smells of expensive cologne and something else, something clean and dangerous, like ozone before a storm. "So you can understand my confusion, Ilara. A girl like you, a ghost, suddenly finds herself in the middle of a business transaction. A transaction that ends with a man dead." He crouches down, bringing his face level with mine. The sheer power radiating from him is suffocating. I don't believe in coincidences. I force myself to meet his gaze, to not flinch away. "I don't know what you're talking about." A slow, terrifying smile spreads across his lips. It doesn't reach his eyes. It's a predator's smile, the kind a shark might give a minnow right before it strikes. "Don't you?" he murmurs, his voice a low caress that is more threatening than a shout. He rises from his crouch, his movements fluid and impossibly graceful, and begins to circle the sofa where I sit. I am the minnow. I am trapped in this glass bowl, and he is just outside, watching me. "Let's try this again. You were in the alley behind Giuseppe's. A place you know is off limits to staff. You saw something. You took something. He stops behind me, and I can feel the heat of him through the thin cotton of my new shirt. My entire body tenses, a wire pulled to its breaking point. I want you to tell me what you saw, and I want you to give me what you took. Cooperate, and this can be very simple for you. For your brother. The threat is explicit, a velvet glove over an iron fist. My mind scrambles for a believable lie, something that fits the profile of a tired, broke waitress. I wasn't feeling well, I say, my voice barely a whisper. I cut through the alley to get home faster. It was stupid. I heard a noise. I saw two men. Then I saw you. I panicked. I ran. That's all. I didn't take anything. He laughs, a soft, humorless sound that makes the hairs on my arms stand up. He walks back around to face me, leaning down to place his hands on the sofa arms on either side of my head, caging me in. The scent of ozone and expensive whiskey fills my lungs. A girl who panics doesn't stop to comment on her ruined shoes, Alara. A girl who panics doesn't look a man like me in the eye and lie with such composure. You're a terrible actress. He straightens up, his expression hardening. Stand up. The command is absolute. It leaves no room for argument. My body obeys before my mind can process it, pushing me up from the cold leather. My legs are trembling, but I lock my knees, forcing myself to stand straight. Turn around, hands on the sofa. My blood runs cold. This is it. He's gonna search me. My gaze flicks to the folded apron on the dresser, 100 feet away, a million miles away. The USB drive feels like a lead weight in its pocket, a beacon screaming its location. Now, he says, his voice dropping an octave. I turn slowly, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. I place my palms flat on the cool, smooth leather of the sofa cushions, bracing myself. I feel him move behind me. I hear the soft rustle of his suit jacket. I squeeze my eyes shut. His hands land on my shoulders, firm and possessive. They slide down my back, pressing lightly, a clinical assessment that feels deeply intimate. I hold my breath, every muscle screaming. His hands trace the curve of my waist, his thumbs brushing just under the band of my jeans. A shiver I can't control ripples through me. He notices. I know he notices. You're trembling, he observes, his voice close to my ear. Are you cold or are you afraid? I don't answer. His hands move down over my hips, down my thighs, patting them with a methodical, impersonal pressure that is somehow more violating than a grope. He finds nothing. Of course, he finds nothing. The evidence isn't on me. It's over there. A wave of relief so potent it makes me dizzy washes over me. He straightens up, and I risk a glance back at him. His jaw is tight, his eyes narrowed with frustration. He didn't find what he was looking for. His gaze sweeps the room, a predator scanning its territory. It lands on the dresser, on the folded, stained apron. My heart plummets into my stomach. What's this? He asks, his voice dangerously soft. He strides over to the dresser and picks up the apron. He holds it up by its strings, the fabric dangling like a dead thing. He sees the dark, dried stains on the front. He sees the tear in the pocket. His eyes, dark and calculating, find mine. You kept it. A souvenir? It's my uniform, I managed to say, my voice hoarse. It's all I have. He doesn't believe me. He never believes me. His fingers go to the apron pocket, the one I know holds the USB drive. He probes it with his thumb and forefinger. I see the exact moment his expression changes. The flicker of recognition, the triumph of the hunter, who has finally cornered his prey. He has found it. He knows. He pulls the small, silver drive from the pocket, holding it up between his thumb and index finger. It looks so small, so insignificant in his large, powerful hand. And yet, it's the reason I'm here. The reason a man is dead. The reason my brother is a pawn. Well, he says, his voice laced with a chilling satisfaction. What have we here? He takes a step toward me, and that's when it happens. The sound is not loud at first. It's a high-pitched whine, a scream of tortured metal followed by a percussive thump that vibrates through the floor. The floor-to-ceiling window behind him explodes. A shower of tempered glass rains into the room, glittering like deadly diamonds in the city lights. The boss moves with an impossible speed. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't shout, he just moves. One second he's standing there, the USB drive in his hand. The next, he's on me, his body a solid wall of muscle slamming me to the floor behind the marble coffee table. "Stay down," he roars, the first true shout I've heard from him. It's a command that vibrates through my entire body. The world is a chaos of noise and light. The sharp crack of gunfire deafeningly close in the enclosed space. The shattering of more glass, a lamp toppling over, the splintering of wood. He's on top of me, his weight a crushing, protective shield. One arm is braced beside my head, the other is fisted in my hair, holding me down, pressing my cheek against the cold, hard floor. I can smell his cologne, the clean, dangerous scent of him, mixed with the acrid smell of cordite. I can feel the frantic, steady beat of his heart against my back. He is not afraid. He is enraged. I risk lifting my head just enough to see. Two figures in black tactical gear are moving through the shattered remains of the window, their movements silent and efficient. They carry suppressed pistols with attached lights that cut through the dimness of the room, searching for targets. One of them sweeps his light across the sofa, past the coffee table. The beam is coming right for us. The boss sees it too. He shifts his weight, pulling a gun from a holster at the small of his back that I never even knew was there. It appears in his hand as if by magic. He moves to rise to engage them, but I see something he doesn't. A third man, he's come in from another direction, from the hallway that leads to the bedrooms. He's aiming at the boss's back, at his blind spot. There's no time to scream, no time to think. My body acts on pure, primal instinct. My hand shoots out, scrabbling across the floor, finding the heavy glass ashtray from the coffee table. It's cold and solid in my palm. I don't aim. I don't calculate. I just hurl it with all the force I can muster. It flies through the air in a clumsy arc and smashes into the wall, a foot away from the third man's head. It's not a direct hit. It's a stupid, desperate, useless gesture. But it's enough. The man flinches, his head snapping toward the sound of the shattering glass. It's the only distraction the boss needs. He pivots, his body a blur of motion, and the gun in his hand barks twice. The sound is deafening, a raw, unsuppressed roar that echoes in the grand room. The man in the hallway crumples to the floor, a dark stain spreading across his chest. The boss doesn't hesitate. He's already moving, rolling off me, firing at the other two intruders. The shots are precise, controlled. One goes down, clutching his leg. The other gets off a wild shot that punches a hole in the wall above my head before a bullet from the boss's gun takes him in the shoulder, sending him spinning to the floor. And then, silence. A thick, ringing silence punctuated only by the tinkle of falling glass and the pained groans of the wounded men. The boss is on his feet in a crouch, his gun still trained on the threats. He's breathing heavily, his chest rising and falling. He looks like a god of war, beautiful and terrifying in his fury. His men, his shadows, pour into the room from hidden entrances, securing the scene with brutal efficiency. They don't ask questions. They just follow orders, neutralizing the remaining threats and dragging the bodies away. The boss slowly lowers his gun. He turns and his eyes find me. I'm still on the floor, half hidden behind the coffee table, covered in a fine dusting of glass. I'm shaking uncontrollably, the adrenaline a violent poison in my veins. He takes a step toward me, then stops. His gaze is intense, searching. It's not the predatory look from before. It's not the cold calculation of a man assessing a threat. It's something else, something hotter, more complicated. His men move around us like ghosts, efficiently bagging evidence, wiping down surfaces, their presence a low hum of controlled violence. One of them steps carefully over the shattered glass, his face a blank mask, and begins to wrap the body of the man from the hallway in a heavy plastic tarp. The reality of it hits me then, a sickening lurch. A man is dead. I watched him die, and I am the reason this all happened. The boss takes another step, his expensive leather shoes crunching on the debris. He stops directly in front of me, a towering silhouette against the glittering, broken cityscape. He holds the USB drive between his fingers, a tiny silver key that has unlocked this hell. He doesn't offer me a hand. He crouches down, his knees cracking a quiet protest, bringing his face level with mine. The scent of him is overwhelming gunpowder, and that clean, dark cologne, a scent that will forever be tied to terror and a strange, terrifying safety. "Look at me," he commands. His voice is low, a rough vibration that I feel in my own bones. I force my gaze up from the floor, from the smear of blood on the marble, to meet his eyes. They are black in the dim light, fathomless. There's no gratitude there. I didn't expect any. But there's no anger either, not the kind I've seen before. There's a fierce, possessive gleam, a predator's stare that has just seen its prey do something utterly unexpected. "Why?" he asks, the single word a blade. I don't know," I stammer, my teeth chattering. "He was behind you. I saw him. You could have been killed. You should have been killed. You threw a glass ashtray at a man with a gun." He says it like he's stating a fact, like he's trying to make it compute in his ruthless, logical brain. It was stupid. It was the stupidest, bravest, most insane thing I have ever seen. He corrects, his voice dropping to a near whisper. He reaches out, his movements slow, deliberate. I flinch, but I don't pull away. His fingers brush my cheek, smearing a tear I didn't know I'd shed with a streak of something dark soot, or blood I don't know. His touch is gentle, a shocking contrast to the violence of the last few minutes, but it feels like a brand. "You saved my life." It's not a thank you, it's an accusation. An acquisition. He stands up, his shadow falling over me again. He tucks the USB drive into his suit jacket, right over his heart. Then he extends a hand. This time I take it. His grip is iron, his palm warm and calloused. He pulls me to my feet with effortless strength, and I stumble, my legs feeling like water. He steadies me, his hands landing on my waist, holding me against him for a fraction of a second. The world tilts. I'm pressed against the hard wall of his chest, my hands flat on the expensive wool of his suit. I can feel the steady, solid rhythm of his heart, a stark contrast to the frantic fluttering in my own chest. He releases me as quickly as he grabbed me, setting me back on my feet as if I'm something delicate and dangerous he's not quite sure how to handle. "Marco," he says, his voice crisp and authoritative, cutting through the quiet cleanup. One of his men, a broad-shouldered man with a grim face, immediately steps forward. "Boss, take her, get her cleaned up, find her something to wear, burn those clothes." He gestures at my jeans and t-shirt, now torn and dusted with glass, "and bring her to my office. In 1 hour." "Yes, boss." Marco moves toward me, but the boss holds up a hand, stopping him. His eyes are locked on mine again. "You will not try to run. You will not speak unless spoken to. You will do exactly as Marco says. Do you understand?" I can only nod, my throat too tight to form words. A flicker of something satisfaction maybe crosses his face. He turns and walks away without a backward glance, striding through the carnage as if he's simply crossing a ballroom floor. He barks a few more orders in Italian to his other men, who scatter to obey. In moments, the room is transformed. The bodies are gone, the worst of the glass is being cleared. The air still smells of violence, but the evidence is being systematically erased. Marco is at my side. He's not unkind, but his presence is just as intimidating as the boss's. "This way," he says, his voice a low rumble. He leads me not toward the hallway where the gunman appeared, but in the opposite direction, toward a set of imposing double doors I hadn't noticed before. We walk down a long, carpeted hallway, the silence broken only by my soft, shuffling footsteps and his steady, heavy tread. He opens a door and reveals a bedroom that is larger than my entire apartment. It's done in shades of gray and cream, minimalist and luxurious. A king-sized bed with a dark gray duvet dominates one wall. Floor-to-ceiling windows, intact, offer a breathtaking view of the city lights. "The bathroom is through there," Marco says, pointing to a door. "There are clothes in the closet. Anything you choose. The boss wants you presentable." He stands by the door, a silent, unmovable guard. I need to call my brother," I say, the words rushing out of me. "He'll be worried sick." "I was supposed to be home hours ago." Marco's expression doesn't change. "That's not possible." "But he's all I have!" "He doesn't know where I am. He'll think something happened to me." "Something did happen to you," Marco states flatly, "and you are now under the boss's protection. That is all you need to know." The finality in his tone chills me. There is no arguing, no pleading. I am a prisoner no matter how gilded the cage. I walk into the bathroom, my legs still trembling. It's like a spa, all dark marble and polished chrome. A massive soaking tub sits under a large window, and a glass-walled shower has a rainfall shower head. I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. My face is pale, my eyes wide and haunted. There's a smear of dirt on my cheek, and my hair is a tangled mess. A faint red mark, where the boss pressed my face to the floor, is blooming on my skin. I turn on the faucet, splashing cold water on my face. The shock of it brings me back to myself, just a little. I strip off my ruined clothes, leaving them in a pile on the floor. They smell like the restaurant, like fear, like him. I step into the shower and turn the water on as hot as I can stand it, letting it cascade over my body. I scrub my skin until it's red, trying to wash away the memory of glass raining down, the sight of the man crumpling to the floor, the feel of the boss's body pinning me to the ground. But I can't wash it away. It's seared into me. I find a bottle of expensive, unscented soap and use it, clean scent, a small comfort. When I wrap myself in a plush gray towel and walk back into the bedroom, Marco is still standing by the door, like a statue. He doesn't look at me. I go to the walk-in closet and open the door. It's a cavern of space, filled with men's clothes, suits, shirts, trousers, all perfectly organized, and on one side, a small collection of women's clothing, all in my size. The realization hits me like a punch to the gut. This wasn't an accident. He didn't just bring me here on a whim. He planned for this. He planned to keep me. The thought is so terrifying, so absolute, that it makes my head spin. I push it down and force myself to think. I need clothes. I choose a simple pair of black silk pajamas. They feel impossibly soft against my skin. A decadent prison uniform. When I emerge, Marco gives me a single, approving nod. "It's time," he says. He leads me back down the hallway, but this time we stop at a different set of doors. He knocks once, a sharp, precise rap. "Enter," the boss's voice calls from within. Marco opens the door and gestures for me to go inside alone. I step into a vast, dark-paneled office. One entire wall is made of glass, looking out over the city that now seems menacing and full of threats. The boss is sitting behind a massive mahogany desk, a desk lamp casting a pool of warm light on the surface in front of him. He's changed his suit jacket for a black one, and the glass and blood are gone from his person. He looks immaculate, as if the firefight never happened. The USB drive is on the desk in front of him, plugged into a sleek laptop. "Close the door," he says, not looking up at me. I do as he says, the soft click of the latch echoing in the quiet room. "Sit." I pull out the heavy leather chair opposite his desk and sit, my hands clasped in my lap. I feel like a child called to the principal's office, a principal who kills people. He finally looks up, his eyes pinning me in place. "We need to talk about this," he says, tapping a single finger on the USB drive. "And we need to talk about you." He leans back in his chair, steepling his fingers under his chin. "Let's start with the easy part. My name is Alessio. And you are?" I hesitate for a second, giving him my name. It feels strange, too personal, to give it to a man like this. "Well," he says, my name rolling off his tongue with a strange, possessive inflection. "Now that we're acquainted, let's discuss why you, a waitress, decided to steal the most sensitive piece of intelligence in my organization." "I didn't steal it," I insist, my voice shaking with renewed frustration. "I told you I was serving coffee. The man who was killed." He bumped into me. "The drive must have fallen into my apron pocket. I didn't even know it was there until you found it." He watches me, his expression unreadable. "A convenient story." "It's the truth," I say, a little louder than I intend. "Why would I steal it? I don't even know what's on it. I don't know anything about your organization. I was just trying to pay my rent." He is silent for a long moment, just watching me. The city lights twinkle behind him, a beautiful, indifferent backdrop to my interrogation. "The man who gave it to me," he says, his voice low and dangerous. "His name was Rico. He was my head of security. He was also apparently a traitor. He was selling my secrets to a rival family, the Vitellis. He gestures to the shattered window in the other room. They were the ones who sent our evening guests. They want this drive. They want what's on it. And they thought I would be an easy target tonight. He leans forward, his forearms resting on the desk, the intensity of his focus almost a physical force. Rico is dead. The men who came for the drive are dead or captured. But the information on this drive, it names names. It details every transaction, every betrayal, every secret the Vitellis have for. And it also contains a list of my own people who were on Rico's payroll. The mole in my organization isn't just one person. It's a cancer. My blood runs cold. You think I'm one of them. I thought you were, he corrects me. A pretty little plant sent to get close, to steal the drive back after Rico failed. But your little performance with the ashtray, it doesn't fit the profile of a cold-blooded spy. It was reckless, emotional, stupid. He says the word stupid again, but this time it sounds different. Less like an insult, more like a statement of fact that he finds fascinating. So now I don't know what you are. An innocent caught in the crossfire? Or something else entirely? I'm an innocent. I whisper, the words feeling flimsy and inadequate in this world of violence and betrayal. I'm a waitress. I have a brother I'm trying to put through college. That's all. He picks up the drive, holding it between his thumb and forefinger. If that's true, then you are a loose end. A witness. Someone who knows too much. In my world, people like you are eliminated. The words hang in the air between us, cold and final. He doesn't even have the decency to look away as he says it, his dark eyes boring into mine, watching for my reaction. He wants to see me break. I can feel the tears welling up hot and sharp, but I refuse to let them fall. I will not give him that satisfaction. I lift my chin, a small, defiant gesture that feels utterly pathetic but is all I have. Then I guess you'd better get it over with, I say, my voice barely a whisper but steady. Because I've told you the truth, I don't know anything. A flicker of something crosses his face. It's not sympathy, not even close. It's more like, as if my pitiful attempt at bravery is a new and interesting specimen he's discovered under a microscope. He leans back again, the movement slow and deliberate, like a predator settling in to wait. And yet, you are still breathing, he observes. Why do you think that is? Because you don't kill women in silk pajamas? I retort, the words slipping out before I can stop them. A genuine, if brief, smile touches his lips. It transforms his face, making him devastatingly handsome for a second before the hard mask snaps back into place. Amusing, but no. I kill whoever needs killing, regardless of their attire. He picks up a small remote from his desk and presses a button. The wall of glass behind him shimmers, and a section of it turns opaque, revealing a massive, built-in screen. With another click, an image appears on the screen. It's a still frame from a security camera showing the restaurant. The angle is high, looking down on my section of tables. I see myself, clearing a plate. I see the man he called Rico sitting at a corner booth, looking nervous. And I see another man sitting with him. A man I recognize. He comes into the restaurant every Tuesday, always sits in Rico's booth, always orders the veal piccata. He's a quiet man with a kind face and tired eyes. He always leaves a big tip. Do you know him? Alessio asks, his voice softening into a dangerous purr. My heart hammers against my ribs. He's a customer, I say, my throat dry. His name is, I think it's Sal. Sal something. Sal Moretti, Alessio supplies. He's my accountant, has been for 15 years, a man I trusted with my life. He swipes on a touchpad built into his desk and another image appears on the screen. It's a scanned document, a ledger. Names and numbers are listed in neat columns. I see Sal Moretti's name next to a series of figures that make my head spin. This is from the drive, Alessio says, his voice like ice. It's a record of the payments Rico made to the people in my organization who were betraying me. Sal Moretti is on that list. He's been selling my financial records to the Vitellis for months. I stare at the screen, at the kind-faced man from the restaurant, and a cold dread seeps into my bones. I didn't know, I stammer. I just served him coffee. I know you didn't, Alessio says, and the casual way he says it, as if he can see directly into my soul, is more terrifying than any threat. That's why you're still alive. You are the only person outside of this organization who has seen Rico and Sal meet in person on multiple occasions without them knowing you were a witness. You are a ghost, a piece of the puzzle they don't even know exists, and you are going to help me flush out the rest of the cancer. He stands up and I flinch back in my chair. He's so much bigger than I remembered, his presence filling the vast room. He walks around the desk, his movements fluid and silent like a panther. He stops right in front of me, so close I can feel the heat radiating from his body, smell the clean, spicy scent of his cologne. I have to crane my neck to look up at him. You will stay here, he says, his voice low and commanding. You will be provided with everything you need. Clothes, food, whatever you ask for. In return, you will do exactly as I say. You will look at every file, every photograph on that drive. You will tell me every interaction you ever had with Rico, with Sal, with any of my men who ever came into that restaurant. You will help me identify every last name on that list. He reaches down, his fingers brushing a stray strand of hair away from my cheek. His touch is electric, a jolt of pure, undiluted fear that courses through me. You are no longer a waitress, he murmurs, his thumb tracing the line of my jaw. You are mine. You are under my protection, which means no one can touch you. No one but me. The possessiveness in his tone is absolute, a claim of ownership that chills me to the bone. This isn't protection. It's a different kind of prison. A gilded cage, just as I thought, but now I understand the bars are made of him. What if I refuse? I ask, my voice trembling. He smiles again, that same fleeting, terrifying smile. Because if you do, I will have to reevaluate your usefulness. And we both know what happens to people who are no longer useful to me. He straightens up, the moment of terrifying intimacy broken. He walks back to his desk, dismissing me as if I'm a business transaction he's just concluded. Marco will take you back to your room. Get some sleep. We have a lot of work to do tomorrow. I scramble out of the chair, my legs feeling like they might give out. I don't say goodbye. I don't dare. I just turn and walk to the door, my back ramrod straight, feeling his eyes on me every step of the way. I open the door and Marco is there, waiting. He doesn't say a word, just falls into step behind me as I walk back down the long hallway. The silence is heavy, broken only by the soft tread of our feet on the thick carpet. When we reach the door to my room, he opens it for me. I step inside and he closes it behind me. I hear the distinct metallic click of a lock engaging. I'm trapped. I lean back against the door, my body sagging with a relief so profound it's painful. I'm alive, for now. I slide down to the floor, the silk of the pajamas pooling around me. I'm in the most luxurious room I've ever seen. I'm in the most luxurious room I've ever seen, and it feels like a tomb. The silk pajamas, a soft, cool whisper against my skin, are a shroud. I stay on the floor for a long time, my back pressed against the unyielding wood of the door, the only solid thing in a world that has tilted on its axis. The lock clicks in my memory, a final, damning sound. My breath hitches, a ragged little sob that I choke back. Crying is a luxury I can't afford. He wants me to break. I won't. Slowly I push myself, my muscles protesting. My bear sinks into a carpet so thick and plush it's like walking on a cloud. The room is vast, dominated by a king-sized bed with a headboard of tufted gray velvet that looks like a storm cloud. The sheets are a pristine, crisp white, turned down with an invitation I have no choice but to accept. Across from the bed is a wall of floor-to-ceiling windows offering a glittering, panoramic view of the city lights. They look like a handful of scattered diamonds, beautiful and impossibly far away. I walk to the glass, pressing my palm against the cool surface. I can see the world out there, living and breathing, unaware of the girl trapped in this ivory tower. This isn't a room, it's an aquarium, and I'm the new, exotic specimen on display for one man only. My eyes drift from the view to the rest of the room. There's a seating area with 2 armchairs in a deep charcoal leather that looks buttery soft, and a low-slung coffee table, made of a single slab of dark, polished wood. On it sits a crystal carafe of water and a single glass. A thoughtful touch, or just another detail in his perfect, controlled prison. I don't know anymore. Driven by a need I can't name, I walk toward the only other door, a set of double doors slightly ajar. I push them open and reveal a walk-in closet. My breath catches. It's not empty. It's filled with clothes. Racks of dresses, blouses, and trousers hang in neat, color-coordinated rows. A shelf holds dozens of shoeboxes, all with my size scrawled on the side in a sharp, masculine hand. There are drawers filled with lingerie, delicate and lacy things in black and cream and deep burgundy, the kind of stuff I've only ever seen in magazines. He had this all prepared, before he even knew if I'd be useful. The thought sends a fresh wave of ice through my veins. He didn't bring me here on a whim. This was always the plan. He was just waiting for an excuse for a little waitress to stumble into his path. I back away as if the clothes themselves are venomous and retreat into the adjoining bathroom. It's a sanctuary of marble and chrome with a deep soaking tub and a glass-walled shower big enough for 5. On the vanity, next to a set of plush, monogrammed towels, is an array of expensive-looking skincare products and perfumes. He's thought of everything. He has stripped away my old life, my worn jeans and my waitress uniform, and replaced it with this. This is the new me, the me owns. His words echo in my head. You are mine. You are under my protection, which means no one can touch you. No one but me. The possessiveness in his voice wasn't a threat. It was a statement of fact, as immutable as gravity. He sees me as a thing, an asset. A beautiful, dangerous thing to be kept in a box and only taken out when needed. My anger wars with my fear, a hot, turbulent mix in my stomach. I refuse to be his thing. I walk back into the bedroom, my gaze falling on the clothes again. Defiance, a sharp and sudden, spikes through me. If I'm going to be his prisoner, I won't be his doll. I ignore the dresses and the soft blouses. I pull out a pair of simple, black trousers and a plain, long-sleeved white shirt. It's the most utilitarian outfit I can find. I dress quickly, the fabric of the trousers soft and perfectly fitted, the shirt a fine, high-quality cotton. It feels strange on my skin, like I'm wearing someone else's life. Which, I suppose, I am. I'm just sitting on the edge of the bed, feeling the ridiculous softness of the mattress, when a sharp knock sounds at the door. I flinch, my heart leaping in my throat. I don't move. The knock comes again, louder this time. Miss, a muffled voice calls. It's not Alessio. A delivery for you. Hesitantly, I stand and walk to the door. I'm not sure what I'm expecting. Food? A new set of chains? I open it a crack. Marco is standing there, his expression as blank as ever. In his hands, he holds a slim, silver laptop. He doesn't wait for me to speak, just pushes it into my hands. Mr. Valentini requires you to begin your review, he says, his voice flat. He will be in to check on your progress in 1 hour. 1 hour. The words are a death sentence. He's giving me a deadline. I take the laptop, my fingers brushing his. They're cold. I nod, unable to find my voice, and close the door. The lock doesn't click this time. He's leaving it unlocked. A test? Or does he simply know I have nowhere to go? I carry the laptop to the small desk tucked under the window and open it. It powers on silently, the screen glowing brightly. There's only one icon on the desktop. A folder named Cancer. As I click on the folder, the weight of uncertainty lifts, replaced by a spark of trepidation turned attraction. He pins me against the desk, his lips claiming mine with a possessiveness that leaves me breathless. My mind recoils at the danger, yet my body responds to the darkness that binds us, a twisted loyalty igniting within me. In that moment, I am his, forever bound to the cancer that consumes us both. Would you trust him? Comment and subscribe.